Okay, Jeff. Little before and after from your session today, mate. Just as a recap, so you don't forget anything. So yeah, I mean the one on the left hand side of the screen is your swing at the start of the session, right? So we spoke about your setup, spoke about your alignment issues. Particularly with your toes pointing off to the right. That's why I asked you, with the Q&A at the start of the session, that's why I asked you, if you're trying to push it, right? Because it just looks like your right foot's pulled back a little bit, and your toes are pointing off to the right, right? So you're already setting up. I mean, what I was witnessing was a push to the right, and also one which just curved over a bit too much that way, right? So where does that come from? It comes from you getting the club coming down just too much underneath the plane, and then the club head's attacking the ball too much from the inside, right? How you get there, we spoke a little bit about setup with regards to bending over more, and you can see the one on the right side after I kind of got hold of you, bent you forward a bit more. You can see the extension of the shaft now is more going through your belt buckle rather than your belly button, right? The one on the left side. And then the one on the left side, it's because of your very tall, upright posture. Left shoulder's moving a little bit too high, club head's a little bit too low and kind of behind your hands too early. Then you get it a little flat going back with some maybe a bit too much left forearm rotation, that pronation, right? And you do okay to about there. You've got some connection under your right arm to about there, but then your kind of right arm comes away from your torso a little bit, right? You do a really good job of trying to get the club back on plane coming down, but I think you're doing that by just pulling your hands and arms down. And of course, when you just pull your hands and arms down and forget to turn, by the time you come down into impact, certainly coming down into impact there, we just haven't turned enough. And that's one of the things that we got you doing, right? So path is a little bit too much from the inside, and then the shaft comes out a little bit too high above your left shoulder, right? So bend over more. Show me a takeaway where the club head's a little bit higher and maybe feel as though it's a little bit more outside of your hands, right? And you can see how that club's pretty much coming straight up that plane line, right? So these are just exercises. And I'm saying, right, now from there, now show me an impact position where you're on your left side, but you've turned your hips out the way and your shoulders out the way more, right? So over here, your shoulders, and here, your hips are out the way a little bit, but certainly shoulders are very square. So now show me an impact position where your shoulders are out the way and your hips are more out the way, and then get your hands moving over that yellow stick on the ground, right? So you turned out the way. All you got to do is carry on turning and make sure your hands go along that stick. And when you understand that, and you understand that you got to swing left post impact, then you can see the club coming out a lot lower than what you were doing when you were hitting a shot, right? So that's kind of what we did from the down the line view. And with regards to the face-on view, well, straight away, massive difference with the width of the stance, right? And if we put some lines next to your ear and your hips, ear and hips. So going back, bit of swaying, right? A little bit with the head, but quite a lot with the hips, right? And what I mean by that is this space in here. So what I said was, well, at the top of the swing, you want to be settling back on your left foot, right? Yes, your pressure moves from your right foot to back onto your left foot at the top of the swing. So all you're doing there really is showing me a top of the swing position where you're feeling it a lot more in that left thigh and under that left foot, right? And you can see you've got that green space next to your left hip on the left side, and you've really minimized that. You've only got a tiny little bit of that now, right? So that's a massive improvement. Right, and that's once you're settling on your left, you have no problem making that dynamic movement coming down and getting on your left side. It's just from where you're doing it at the top of your swing, right? There's too much lateral movement over your right foot, and then by the time we get to impact, there's not enough movement over your left foot to get your weight forward enough, right? And also there's the turning component to it as well. But you look at that image on the right side compared to that image on the left side, right? Right arm more connected, so your right arm's kind of connected to your torso. Not as much sway with your lower body, and also looking as though you're sitting into that left leg a little bit more at the top of the swing, just in preparation for the downswing. So yeah, good, mate. You got a lot of potential. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy working together. So if you have any questions or comments or anything, just shoot me over an email. Thanks, Jeff.